Well, we've seen Efrén Reyes before. Here he is in live action. He didn't win the lag, in fact. Orcollo won that and then threw the white ball straight in. And so that's given Reyes a chance. And you don't want to give Efrén Reyes too much of a chance here at home in Manila. This is the big one of the night. Two Filipinos going at it. One a legend and one trying to be. Let's join our commentary.
But you can't find an empty seat, forget it. If you're planning on coming in, don't bother.
Standing room only. They're up in the rafters there.
But that means that there are going to be distractions for these players. There will be movement around this table. So focus will be a key.
Oh, look at this. The magic of Efrén Reyes. I mean, you know, he was playing position. He wanted to go 3 rails around the 9 ball to get shape on the 7.
What must Dennis Orcollo be thinking already? Not only is he up against Efrén Reyes, he's broken and scratched and then seen Reyes fluke the 9. How much worse is it going to get? If you're looking for an omen, if you're Dennis Orcollo, you will not like what you've seen. And he settles down, ready to get back to work.
Let's see if Efrén uses a hard break.
Second rack, Efrén Reyes took break, leading by 1 rack to 0.
Everyone I've ever commentated alongside, Jay, I've asked him the same question. What's the weakness in this man's game? I've yet to hear an answer.
The break shot. This was shot right here.
Well, that was a prophetic comment. A dry break.
Yeah. He jammed all these balls up down in the lower left there. Efrén actually breaks better now than he ever has, but it's still not one of the more powerful breaks in the game.
Yes, he's got the push-out option, of course, here, Dennis. He might want to, I mean, he could just run that 5, the orange 5, into that little trio of balls there, just to really mess that end of the table up if he wanted to. Look.
Well, he's got an open shot at the 1. He's got an open shot at the 1, so he'll shoot the 1. He'll have a good angle on the 2. But then the tricky part's going to be, how is he going to get on the 3 ball? If he can get on the 3, he might be able to break these balls up. Dennis is a very offensive-minded player. This is tricky. If he touches the 5, it's a foul.
He didn't. And he didn't get the... Oh, he did. That was a heart stopper.
Interestingly enough, he doesn't have a bad angle on the 2. If he can get over to the side rail, that one drops.
You know, if this one had stood up for Dennis, he might have wondered what the pool gods had in store for him tonight. As it was, it dropped, and as you say, the angle for this is very encouraging.
Tricky little shot. He wants to slide that cue ball down past the 9, along the left side rail, and have a shot at the 3 in the lower right corner. Tough shot to execute, but this is a man that can do it. Well, looks like he's going another way. He's going this route. Looks like he wants to... Uh-oh, he might have gone too far here. Look out. He did.
This is a disastrous start for Dennis Orcollo.
He was playing position to bank the 3 next cross side and just overhit the cue ball a little bit.
And we've seen, as that cue ball says goodbye to Dennis, we've seen how many times how Efrén Reyes can take a table that looks a bit messy and clean it up very quickly. A couple of shots and you're looking around going, well, where was the problem with that?
I think he'll shoot the 3, try to draw the cue ball back in the same position and shoot the 4 in the same... Oh, no, he's playing a combination. Shooting the 4-6. What he's looking at here is after the 4 hits the 6, the 4 is going to move off to the right, and he'll be able to shoot the 4 next in the other corner pocket. No one positions the balls better than Efrén does.
First, he's got to just make sure of this combo. That was never in doubt. And as you say, the 4 has been... And there you go. 2 shots. What looked like a messy rack is as clean as it gets.
Even though this is a round of 64 match, Nick, the pride of the nation is on his shoulders. Efrén wants this match.
Yeah, I'm not so sure it's about national pride. I think it's his own personal pride as much as anything. As you say, the young pups are snapping at the old dog's heels.
The 2 top young guns are Marlon Manello and this fellow Dennis Orcollo.
And throw in Renato Elcano into that pot as well.
He's in
up
the mix
next.
too.
Yeah, he's up next for the winner of this one. So they're all sorting themselves out here. Reyes is certainly making short shrift of those 2 racks. He's jumped into a lead on Dennis Orcollo, who needs to settle down.
He's going to go back up table and land all the ball anyway, so wins either way.
Okay, well, and let's have a look at him breaking off because, well, this is a big one. It's a very big one. Reyes in the seat. And what can Orcollo do with this one? He really needs to win this rack. Let's return to Manila to our commentary team.
Took a little bit off that break, didn't hit it quite as hard.
Didn't he just? He's got
Came
a
up
clutch to
empty,
deal
though.
with as well. It's another table that doesn't look too promising. But then again, it's Efrén Reyes coming up to take a look at it. So we've had a scratch, followed by a scratch, followed by a dry break. What else is going to go wrong for Dennis Orcollo tonight?
I think Efrén can hit this 1 ball, and if he can, he'll probably play safe. Drive the 1 down here behind this big group of balls. Now he wants to bring the cue ball down here. Better yet, he hit that first ball. He hit that 5 ball.
Yeah, the 1 is on and the 2 is on, but have fun after that, Dennis.
This rack looks worse than the last one.
It does, doesn't it? Well, that's exactly where Dennis is thinking now. He's not looking at the 1, he's looking at that horrible little mess down there where the cue ball is. There's a little meld, the 5 and the 8, and then there's that, in fact, no, 5 and the 6, excuse me, and then there's the trio just behind that.
3, 8, 7. He can get from the 1 to the 2 ball. The problem is, what's he going to do with the 3 ball?
Yeah, after the 2, it gets a very serious headache. Will he try and break him up here, I wonder? I think maybe he was giving it a try. That's made it even worse.
Yeah.
Unless there's some outrageous 3-9 combination on there, which I very much doubt.
He's looking at the 3-8 combination. That's what he's thinking about. Well, I can make the 2 right here, keep the cue ball right there, and I have the right angle to play the 3-8. Again, this is a player who does not like to play defense. He wants to run out if he's got any opportunity. That's just his style of play. That's what he's going to shoot.
Yeah, let's see what he's got.
It's not so good that he laid the cue ball on the rail. Gives him a little less maneuverability. Even if he makes this combination, he's not guaranteed a good shot at the 3 ball. Trying to make the 8 here.
And doing it. Where's that 3 off to, though?
There you go.
Is that 3
Went too far.
Can he still see it? Oh, he may just. That's close. That is close. It needed to stop a good half ball before it did. It needs to stop about there, and it's just rolled on. And I'm not sure Dennis can get enough of that. It's real fine. Can he slide it past that 9?
He may be able to make this 3-ball using extreme right English. That way he throws it to the left when he makes contact. It's tight. It's tight.
It really is. What a shot to have to deal with when you're 2-0 down against Efrén Reyes. And you've made a shaky start. But if you can get this one, keep him in his chair where he can't do any harm, well, that kick-starts your match with a long way to go. Oh, yeah, made it look easy, didn't he?
Still, the 5-ball's tied up there against the 6. This is a very tricky layout. He's actually thinking about coming across the table and shooting the 5-6 combination. This is not an easy shot on the 4 all the way down the table. If he tries to do too much with this 4-ball, he may miss it.
I think that's why he's spent so long weighing up the options here. And is he finally down on the table? Yes, he is. He's taken a while to get there. No, he's still not happy.
Yeah, what he wants to do, Nick, he's got to hit this ball hard, and he knows that if he hits it hard, it's got to be perfect.
Otherwise, those jaws will keep it up. Well, can't do much better than that.
Wow.
Is he going to get?
Wow.
Oh, look at that.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Well, this shot tells you what Dennis Orcollo is all about.
You got it right there. That was a great pool shot. You know, Nick, a lot of people don't realize all the good players can make balls, but the great players control that cue ball. That's what made Efrén so great for so many years, and what makes this player right here a terrific player.
Yep, slid it in. And the rest should be a procession after a couple of the shots he's had to nail here. That pink wasn't easy. The position he got off it was fantastic.
If he gets through this rack, this is the toughest rack I've seen run out today.
And that'll settle him right down. And just send a little message to the old master in the other chair. You're not going to intimidate me. Not tonight.
Beautifully done.
Yes, now we can take a deep breath and relax. 2 more shots to put your name on the scoreboard.
Well, he did it. I saw it. I don't know how he got through that rack, I'll tell you.
That rack did not have run out written all over it at all. But that's what Dennis Orcollo has managed. He opened up his account. And hopefully, from his perspective, that shaky start is a thing of the past. That was impressive. Well, here's what's going on elsewhere. Lee Van Corteza has come back against Imran Majid. David Al-Qaeda leads Jurn Kaplan, an all-European affair there. Roya Pancho, Indonesia, who's come from nowhere in this competition, has the lead over Andreas Roszkowski. And Marcus Juva of Finland, 8-6 over Rudy Mortar of the Philippines. So it's all going on late into the night here.
Decent looking break shot there.
There are some of us hoping that Andreas Roszkowski gets eliminated from this, Jay, because some of us can't say his name no matter how much we practice.
Roszkowski. The old master.
Well, it's his turn to deliberate a very fine one. That seven's just sticking a nose out a little bit too far for comfort. And this is every bit as fine as that one that Dennis Orcollo deposited in this pocket in the last rack.
Well, he's going to go back up to the side pocket with the one ball.
Yeah, she didn't even go for the lower
Nicely
pocket.
done. Nicely done, Efrén. Beautiful touch there. Look at how soft he hit this ball.
It's so difficult, isn't it, to try and see the table the way Reyes sees it, because nobody else sees a table the way this man sees it. I've sat next to Steve Davis in the commentary box, and Steve's just thrown his hands up and said, "All right, I give up. I don't know what he's doing." Very few do.
Listen, I've seen him play matches where all the best players in the world are watching, and he does something that nobody saw. He does create some new shots sometimes. There's a particularly difficult discipline of pool known as one pocket. And Efrén has been the master of that game for 15 years. Nobody can beat him at one pocket.
How does one pocket work? Is it what it sounds like? All the balls in one pocket?
Use all 15 balls. Each player has a corner pocket. You've got to make 8 of the 15 in your corner. The other 4 pockets are neutral. The ball goes in, they spot back up. Sounds simple. Toughest game in pool. It's the chess game of pool. And this man is the master.
Well, he's been the master with this rack as well. Once that one ball went down.
That was the key shot right there. He made the one. The rack opened up for him.
He's not mucking about with missing nines like he was in the qualifying stages either. Reyes can't afford those kind of lapses against Dennis Orcollo. 3-1, he keeps his lead. We've got a good one going here.
That was the shot right there.
Well, they're billing this here, not surprisingly, as the Thriller in Manila 2. I guess the pool equivalent of Ali and Frazier would be Reyes and Bustamante, but this isn't a bad second best, is it?
Well, this is the national pastime in the Philippines. To the Filipinos, the pool players are the superstars in this country. Nice break there. Nice break.
Yeah, have we got a nice easy run out for once? Well,
the 5 and 7 is a little bit tough.
The 5's obscured by the 7. He's going to have to get position on that. Other than that,
well, after the rack we saw him run out last time, this looks easy.
Yeah, exactly.
The other day I was walking down the street and Efrén came out of a car. He emerged from the car. By the time he'd walked 20 feet, there must have been 30 kids all around him. They don't want his autograph. They want to touch him. You see how he's putting his cue down? That's where he wants the cue ball, along that line right there. Gives him enough room to make the 5 ball in the lower left corner.
Needs to put the brakes on.
Wow, wow. He got corner hooked. He got corner hooked. Well, he went further with the cue ball than he needed to.
Not for the first time in this match. This didn't need to be doing all this.
He should have stopped about 6 inches sooner, and he'd been fine. He can't hit this ball. He's got a kick at it.
Boy, that's a self-inflicted wound if he's lost possession of the table.
I think you're right, Nick. There is definitely an intimidation factor when they play Efrén. 3 rails. He missed it.
Foul shot. Oh! Ball in hand. So enough of that. Thank you.
Michaela Tabb admonished somebody in the crowd there. I don't know who that was.
Somebody whose adrenaline got the better of them.
Well, another unforced error by Dennis Orcollo.
Ooh. Wow. You don't expect to see that from a Reyes pot.
He's not happy with that, particularly because he wanted the cue ball to come harder off the rail. It's a little more difficult shot on the 7 than he would have liked. But he's composed himself. He should be all right. If he makes this ball, he'll have a good shot at the 8. That's it. That's it. Perfecto.
Yeah, this is 4-1, isn't it?
A little awkward.
But easily done. Yeah, another impressive rack after Orcollo jammed himself up. Dennis is not going to win this match with little slip-ups like that.
Back 5-2 at the moment. Efrén Reyes. And champions have been falling by the wayside as the day has gone on. In the last 2 days, we've lost several. Efrén Reyes, the '99 champion, though, has other ideas. He's holding court here at the Convention Centre. 5-2 up at the moment and at the table. Let's rejoin our commentary team.
But more problems for Dennis here in rack number 8.
Efrén fell a little short on position in the 6th ball, but I think he'll be all right. Yeah, this is a pretty tight shot on the 6th ball. Getting past that 8.
And he's just shoved the 7.
Look at this. A little more of the Reyes magic there.
And every time you see a shot like that, you wonder what it does to Dennis Orcollo's fragile psyche. I mean, it couldn't have been worse, really. You just look back at that first rack, the very first shot from Orcollo, the break, scratched. And then Reyes wins it with a fluke on the 9. I mean, that was an omen right there. And it seemed to just take all the stuffing out of Dennis Orcollo before we'd even started.
Please.
We have qualifiers in the last 32 from all corners of the globe, except the United States.
Thanks for adding that, Nick.
Well, who'd have believed that a few years ago? That's a rack. But Dennis might say, well, I might have a chance at doing something here. He's got to negotiate a lot of table to get from 1 to 2. But after that, it should clean up.
It's a good rack for him right here, but he's struggled with racks like this already in the match. He's gotten in trouble 2 or 3 times. What Dennis is known for is expert cue ball control, just like Efrén, but it hasn't worked for him here yet.
Well, we haven't seen it at all in this match, have we? Quite the opposite. His control of the cue ball has been very sloppy.
This is what he needs to do. This is perfect. He threaded the needle there between the 9 and the 8. Perfect position on the 2.
He is a serious talent in this part of the world. You talk to Filipino pool players about who they rate, and after the obvious candidates, this fella's name crops up over and over again.
Well, in the private money games that go on in the back rooms of the big pool rooms in the Philippines, he's the man right now. But it's a little different story when you're playing to a crowd like this in a big world championship. It's a lot more pressure.
And Efrén Reyes, who just has this magical spell over his compatriots. That wasn't exactly the most convincing pink, but he's okay.
Efrén is the role model for all these young Filipino players. He's a kid that came from the streets of Angeles City, came to the United States, made fame and fortune. He's in the Hall of Fame already, made millions of dollars. He's a wealthy man in the Philippines and a very generous benefactor to many people. And that's what players like Dennis would like to emulate.
Needs this 9. Yes, he's got it. That was a good shot from Dennis Orcollo.
Dennis actually came to the United States for the first time this year, and he's already won 3 major tournaments over there. So he's made his mark already. Won the World Pool League title this year.
In other words, what you're saying, he's a man that is used to success on the big stage. This should not overawe or intimidate him. He's played on the big stage before and been successful. But the big stage and this fella, is that a combination too much for Dennis Orcollo?
Rack 10, Efrén Reyes to break.
I would venture to say this is the biggest match of his life so far. In his home, in his native land, playing a pool god. I suspect millions of Filipinos are up all over the nation watching this match right now.
That is one sensational break. But as we've seen so often, the one thing you want off the break is a good shot on your next available ball, in this case the 1. And what can Reyes find with that? I was going to say there's nothing obvious, but of course it's Efrén Reyes with the cue in his hand.
What I think he's looking at is the possibility of playing the cue ball off the side of the 1 and making the 5 in the upper corner there. He's a terrific billiard player. That's what this is. That's what he wants to shoot. Biggest problem being he's got to stretch way across the table to reach it.
I think you're right, Jay. He's got the radar set. And he's going for the rest just to add another degree of difficulty to a shot that's not exactly ideal.
Tough shot, but nobody shoots these little delicate shots better than Efrén. He double kissed it, but it went. He's left himself a difficult shot on the 1. He would have liked to want to stay a little closer to the rail there. He's got to shoot that one all the way down table in the lower left corner. We call this a blood test. A long, hard cut shot. And it's the kind of shot that if you make it, you win the game. If you miss it, you lose the game.
Well, does he make it? Does he miss?
Looks good.
It just never touched the sides. The rest of this rack should be a breeze for Reyes, although having said that, when we were away checking out Lee Van Cortese, there was a very surprising miss on an easy ball for Reyes, so he does have these odd little lapses of concentration once in a while that an opponent has to pounce on.
Well, he's definitely back in sync now. This was a tricky little series of balls at the beginning of the rack that he maneuvered through. Maintains that 4-game lead. This will make it 7-3.
Yeah, he's enjoying this out there, Efrén Reyes, and so are the vast majority of the fans that are watching it. 7-3 in this race.
And Dennis Orcollo doing everything in his power to try and stay with it, but at the moment Reyes flying. 7-3, race to 10, remember. And as you can see, they're at the table for the break again. Orcollo needing this one. Let's rejoin our commentary team.
Loaded with Chinese Taipei players and Filipinos.
With a smattering of Hungarians, Russians, Indonesians, Vietnamese, Scotsmen. It's a good, healthy mix.
It's a true world sport. Didn't always used to be that way. This was an American-dominated game up till about 20 years ago. Now there's great players all over the globe. And they've got most of them here this week.
You're not wrong there. And some of them have had their bags packed for them already. When the likes of Mika Immonen and Alex Pagulayan can't get through qualifying, you know it's a strong field.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Very nicely done. Look at that. You heard his nickname in his introduction as we just take another look at this. He's known here as the Fisherman, and that's just not some name that's been pulled out of thin air. That's what he was.
From the age of 9. His father died at 3. He was also a fisherman, was lost in a typhoon. And by the age of 9, he was out on boats catching fish to support his family. Story I heard his grandfather bought at pool table, and when he would come in from the sea, he would practice all night long. By the age of 15, he was playing money games all over the Philippines.
Yes, it's a heartwarming story. That little kiss on the black, I don't think has done him any harm.
Not sure if he wants to draw this ball or fall. Looks like he's drawing it. Appears to have gathered himself together finally and got comfortable being on this stage. Might be a little too little too late, though.
Exactly what I was about to say, Jay. You can't spot Efrén Reyes a 4-rack lead in a race to 10. That is not going to get the job done.
Look at Efrén. He looks like the Zen master sitting there.
I mean, Dennis has got to get his game together, which he, as you say, fingers crossed, seems to have done. But he's going to need Efrén to throw him a bone or two now if he's going to get back into this match.
With the alternate break format, he's got to hope that Efrén messes up a couple racks. I don't see that this is a problem for him here.
No, it really shouldn't be, should it? There's that cue ball going to work again.
Kind of surprised me there. It didn't look like he had to do that.
It's obviously what he wanted to do because he's got the placement he was after.
Yeah, it's perfect position.
That was a planned shot, but I'm with you. He's asked that cue ball to do more than it seemed necessary. But anyway, he knew what he was doing.
This is the most relaxed I've seen Dennis on any rack in this match, right here.
And that was a nice rack. He pulls to within 3. Is it too late? Well, Dennis Orcollo's just got to try and stay in Reyes' slipstream. If he can pull a break back and then hold on his own break, he'd be within 1. So this thing is not over yet. Here's the story elsewhere. Al-Qaeda moving to within 2 of victory. Rudy Morta's come back well against Marcus Juva, but those two really locked in a death struggle now. And Marco Schudi, a late qualifier, late into the night last night, needs a couple more racks to dispose of Huang. So we may have a Swiss man in the last 32 as well. They are coming from everywhere at the moment.
Rudy Morta, another unheralded Filipino player. Big break right here for Efrén. He wants to maintain that 4-game lead.
That one's bouncing around a bit, but
looks good.
Looks very good, doesn't it? He'll take that every time. That's the problem that Dennis has got when Reyes is on 7 racks and breaking like that.
It's like you can shoot the 1 on the side and just roll forward for the 3.
Well, he's not going to break serve on this rack.
No.
Unless Reyes decides to put a blindfold on.
Shoot the 3 down here and make the 7 in the corner. He wants the 3 to just stay right there in front of the pocket, just like that. Beautiful cue ball control there. I don't know if you noticed that. Put a lot of extreme right English on it to make the cue ball come down here to the end rail.
Oh, he's making short work of this. I thought you said his break was his weakness. If that's a weakness, heaven help us all.
He actually breaks better now than he did when he was younger. But he's not considered to have a powerful break, though. Wow. It's not what he wanted to do. He wanted to go around the 8 ball there.
Yeah.
He can shoot it in the side pocket.
Yeah, it just made it a little bit harder for himself than he needed to.
Yeah, it's a tricky little shot when you're that close to the ball and have to cut it.
I tell you, if this stands up, you watch the jolt of electricity go through Dennis Orcollo's body.
Nope, he's fine. He's fine.
There was just a moment there that Orcollo showed a little bit of interest in that rack, but no, Reyes kept him in his chair and moves to within 2.
You know, somehow, some way, Nick, you just know Efren's going to be a factor in this tournament.
Well, getting knocked out in the group stages last year was a major shock. He never seemed just quite to settle in Kaohsiung in Chinese Taipei. But here, a repeat performance of that simply would have been unacceptable. And that pressure did seem to get to him a little bit. He didn't sparkle through the group games.
Dennis Orcollo to break.
Oh, he missed that 1-9 ball.
That was
to
unbelievable.
lose his match, yeah.
Unbelievable. That's the enduring image of this year's World Pool Championship for me. Orcollo needs another beauty of a break. No slip-ups now. He's right on the edge. Wing ball goes. Now, is that 2 going to come over and be unpleasant to Dennis?
He's got really no good shot at the 1 ball either.
I thought for a moment the 2 was going to cover it up. I think he gets a shot. The overhead will tell us. Look, it takes a couple of rolls, but no, Dennis can see the edge at least. And
he just can't do anything with it except play safe. He's got no pocket for the 1. I think we're going to see the 1 come down here to the end. Oh, he's trying to use the 2 ball, and it didn't work. He didn't get there. Once again, he was a little lacking on his position of the cue ball. He wanted the cue ball to go behind the 2.
Did you hear the little buzz of anticipation that went around this auditorium?
I don't know. I have any idea what Efren's doing there.
We might as well just admit it, mightn't we? I'm looking at him thinking, Jay, help me out. What's he doing here?
I have no idea what that was about.
Let's take a straw poll and find out if anybody knew what he was doing.
He may think about this 1-9 combination.
That's what I think he's thinking about.
Because that's what he's looking at. And nobody hits these shots any better than Efrén, let me tell you.
That's why the ripple went around the room. They saw it. His lead is such that he might just fancy this. But as you say, who knows?
That's what he shot at.
It was.
But he played the cue ball at the same time. You see how well he did that? I don't think Dennis is going to have an open shot at the 1 ball.
It's a narrow channel between blue and pink. Can Dennis see anything through it? This was, in hindsight, we can say that was never on.
Basically, that was a free shot for Efrén. He felt like he could shoot at the 9. If he missed it, he wasn't going to give up anything.
Now, can Dennis slide that cue ball past the 2 and get sufficient angle on the 1? Dennis seems to be fiddling around with these razor tight lines throughout this whole match, doesn't he? Nothing's coming easy for him, or very little's coming easy for him.
He may take the jump cue out here because he can jump the edge of this 2 ball and make the 1. Frankly, I'd be surprised if he doesn't, because he's very good with the jump cue. He cannot shoot straight at this 1 and make it. I just don't see him doing this. Well, safety. Must be a safety.
It better be a good one. That needs to stop. That needs to stop.
Just did. Just did.
Boy, this was close. Another half a roll. And Reyes' eyes would have been out on stalks. Well, no, actually, maybe a little bit more than that. The angle was deceptive, but it was still getting a bit too close for comfort for Dennis.
I'm looking for a little magic from Efrén right here. He may actually try to bank this ball cross side. Oh, he banked it. Long rail. Almost made it.
He's rubbish, this Efrén Reyes, isn't he? How could you try that? What a shot. And it so nearly came off. He's pushed that black out the way. And Dennis may have cause to say thank you very much.
Yeah, it looks like he's got enough room to shoot the 1. That's what he's
has.
looking at. Can I shoot the 1 in the corner? If he can. Yeah, he's got a chance to take this rack.
It is on the Orcollo serve. He did break for this rack before we all start getting too excited. This isn't clawing anything back on Reyes. But I think if Reyes had taken this rack, we could have all turned the lights off and gone home. But Dennis will keep himself in with just a chance.
Unfortunately, if they trade games, it's going to be no good for Dennis.
Yeah, but Jay, how long have you been around this game? 5-8 is no insurmountable deficit. It only takes one little blink from Reyes, and this fella could be right back in it. That's why he's got to keep playing these racks.
Well, he's in good shape this rack. Efrén took a little bit of a chance with that bank shot, but he felt like he could make it, and he almost did. Dennis is on his game now. But he's got to find a way to win more than one game in a row.
That's the secret, isn't it? He's got to be saying to himself, well, Efren's broken so well last 2 or 3 racks. He's got to have a change of luck at some point. And if he does get up to the table on the Reyes break, that's when he's got to make his move. He's not out of this. 8-5 is not smooth sailing. You'd rather be 8-5 than 5-8, of course, but it is not game over. 8-5 is what we have. The next rack could be very interesting indeed. Dennis really needs it. Can Reyes conjure up another magic break?
Well, as the commentators are saying, it's not over. But Efrén Reyes is so close to the finishing line. I mean, it really is just a matter of time, surely, or not?
Well, for me, John, it's still the start of the match for Orcollo. He just hasn't dug himself out of that early hole. The service break in the opening rack where he scratched, that's what's put him behind right now. He's down only 1 break now, though. So there's still a chance. He's got to break Reyes once. So this one's still alive and kicking as far as Orcollo is concerned.
But this is a much better performance from Efrén Reyes, and as we said at the beginning of the tournament, he looked out of sorts, really. Lost a match and really didn't look as though he was the legend that we all know him to be. But now he's starting to play that way.
Well, there's one thing about Efrén Reyes, too. He never goes out on a limb. He guaranteed that his play was going to improve, and he delivered. And again, you know, he knew he had to play a lot better against a very worthy opponent in Orcollo. So, raised his game when he knew he had to.
Big day today, a lot of significant results, and I think the shape of the tournament really coming together. And Judgment Day, not really as much yesterday, giving us exactly where we were going to be in terms of who were going to be favourites. But now we're starting to see now, as the world champions are falling by the wayside bit by bit, but we're now starting to see some real shape.
Well, it's certainly been a horrific day as far as USA interests are concerned. Johnny Archer, Jeremy Jones, Charlie Williams, Corey Deuel, you know, all gone in the last 64 here. And believe it or not, only 1 North American player left, a Canadian, Tyler Eadie.
Really, I'm surprised you noticed that.
We only had a handful of Canadians in the tournament, but one's alive and kicking in the last 32. But hasn't been a great day for the Europeans either. I mean, Oliver Ortman went out. Torsten Homan. So, I mean, a lot of Mosconi Cup hopefuls and former world champions not going to be in the last 32.
Going back to Canada, how good is Eadie?
Tyler's a very good young player. Got a lot of self-belief. He's not as experienced or as traveled as he needs to be to hoist the crown at the end of this. But you know what? A good run here will put him in good stead for the future. And
of the Europeans, who's the likely one to take it to the Chinese Taipei boys and the Filipinos?
Absolutely no doubt. Ralph Suke.
Okay.
He's the one to put your money on. If you're still looking for a European hopeful, stick it on the Kaiser.
and I'll tell you what, Jim doesn't often put his money anywhere like that and give advice like that, so there you go. You heard it first. Ralph Suke's the man to go for. But then again, well, the way this tournament's gone, I wouldn't put any money on any of them because it's been so tough and you can't really call it. It's been a bit of a lottery, a cauldron-like atmosphere here for this one. And the great man, Efrén Reyes, about to break off and about to see if he can go through to the next round. Let's join our commentary team once again.
The wing
Another
ball
good
goes.
break.
Yeah,
Another
the nine's
break.
going. Nine's gone.
Oh, there it goes. Who said he had a bad break?
That is a knife through the heart of Dennis Orcollo. Just like that, Efrén Reyes climbs onto the hill. What a sickener for Dennis. What a moment for these fans, though. They loved it. Look at that kick. It's the pink.
I wonder if this match is going to be prophetic about the rest of the week for Efrén.
Well, this wasn't Dennis's match from that first rack when he scratched on the break and then watched Efrén fluke the 9.
Trailing by 9 racks
The pool
to
gods
5.
had made their statement as early as rack 1. Efrén,
Thank
we're going to
Set
give you
right
another
now,
one.
please.
Dennis, you got no chance. And right now, it's looking like that's how it's panning out, because Dennis Orcollo surely can't come back from this.
Well, Dennis has got no quit in him, but he just can't stop Efrén on his break.
And what a kick in the teeth when you're sat in the other chair, though, and the guy gets a golden break. There is a look of resignation on Dennis's face. This is out of his hands now.
He's got the 2-5 combination here, which is on.
And there's a nasty cluster forming. If he doesn't get it, though. Actually, of course, if he goes for it, he'll clear it up, whatever. And he has got it, and that has cleared up the cluster just like that. And he's got good position.
I'm not sure if the 2 passes the 9. That's what he just leaned down to look at. Like to see how that 2-9 lines up on the corner pocket.
Of course, if he goes for it and misses it, it's game, set, and match.
The 2 will.
The 2
Looks like the
passes.
2 will just barely pass the 9.
You may have to just cheat the pocket slightly, aim for half a pocket, but it's another one of those, isn't it, for Dennis? How often has he stood up here and he's needed to get a razor blade out to see if the ball will pass?
He's in a very, got a very awkward stance there too. He's got to lay himself over the table. He knows he needs to make this shot if he shoots at it.
Yeah, and where's his confidence level? It's been a tough night out for Dennis Orcollo. As nights out against Efrén Reyes.
Wow,
so
what a
often
shot.
are, but that's a
What
super
a
shot.
That was a difficult combination, and he hit it perfectly.
So Dennis says, you want to play games with the 9 ball? Okay, I can play games with the 9 ball too. But has this come too late? That's a super shot, it really is. That was not automatic.
By any means. Scrappy player, this man. But he knows he's in trouble.
Well, this crowd's getting its money's worth. I mean, there was absolutely nothing wrong with that combination, but it just means we get to see Efrén sooner than we expected.
Rack 16, Efrén Reyes to break, leading by 9 racks to 6.
Those early mistakes in the match to Dennis have gone back to haunt him now.
And even if he does break the Reyes serve here, he'd have to hold and then break again. So
Reyes has been breaking well, too.
yeah, hasn't he just? In goes the 1 into the side. Is he going to have anything on the 2? Where's that going to
shape
hold
up good. It's going to shape
Oh
up
boy.
good.
Oh boy.
Another good break. Let me tell you something. If Efrén breaks like this all week, he's going to be hard to beat.
Well, he's found something special on his break tonight. And if I'm Dennis Orcollo, I'm looking at that table and thinking, I might as well get comfortable in this chair. We will be seeing the magician in the round of 32.
That chair Dennis is in is starting to feel like the electric chair right now, and he's getting executed. He looks resigned, doesn't he?
Well, as you would.
Be careful, Efrén. Don't touch anything. The capper of a masterful performance by Efrén Reyes. He's in fine form.
A bit special. It really was. These fans have packed the rafters, and at 10 to 1 in the morning, they're still here, and they've waited for this moment.
The adoring fans.
They loved it. Every minute of it. Dennis Orcollo, like so many before him, has tried to tame the master and been found wanting. 10-6, just about an accurate reflection of the action. A couple of errors from Dennis early, and there's no way back from a deficit when Efrén Reyes is in the mood, and he's knocking down golden breaks for fun. That autograph session's going to take a while because everybody wants a piece of this man. And Efrén, being the person he is,